Today is day 5 of my English stories. Oh, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Inaya Zaid and I am starting a series of English stories. So, this is day 5. Today's story's name is The Little Pink Book of the Woolly Mammoth. This story is written by Angie Sage. Okay, let us start. Introducing one woolly mammoth in a snowstorm. Look at this woolly mammoth in a snowstorm. Introducing lots of woolly mammoths in a snowstorm. They are Grand Mammoth, Mum Mammoth, Dad Mammoth, Morris Mammoth, Molly Mammoth, and their friends and relatives and relations. As you can see, there are lots of mammoths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 mammoths in a snowstorm. Gran, Mum, Dad, Morris, and Molly Mammoth lived above Gran's mammoth woolly shop. This is their Gran's mammoth woolly shop, and above this is their house. They lived under the glacier at the end of Glacier Street. As you can see, this is a big glacier. They lived at the end of Glacier Street. A glacier is a giant frozen river. They liked living there because it was always cold. Mammoths did not like hot weather. As you can see, there is always snowing. Snow, 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 snow. And that's why Molly's and Morris Gran makes some woolly sweaters. Grand Mammoth knitted mammoth woolies. Woolly jumpers, woolly socks, woolly hats, woolly mitts, woolly vests, woolly knickers, woolly anything in fact. Even Fang, Grand's saber-toothed cat, wore a woolly catsuit. Look at his cute little face and his big 2 fangs. He said, grrr. This is all her knitted sweaters and her clothes. And this is a muffler that she's knitting right now. Let's check. Okay, what happens next is all the mammoths in the town wore Grand's woolies. This was partly because it never stopped snowing and partly because they liked wearing woolies. One mammoth says, lovely cold weather. Look at this mammoth. He is saying lovely cold weather. One is saying buried in the deep snow. And that mammoth says nice deep snow. Okay, these two are friends and they are talking to each other. This one is saying beautiful blizzard last week. And this one is saying, I like your woolly. Okay, these two are having conversations. That's very good. Let's see what happens next. But one day in the middle of summer, it stopped snowing. The sun came out. What's that, Gran? But one day in the middle of summer, it stopped snowing. What's that, Gran? The sun came out. Asked Molly. I've heard about that, said Gran. And no good will come of it. Mark my words. And no good did come out of it. Well, not for a while anyway. Look at Molly Mammoth. She is asking about the sun. What is that, Gran? And her Gran is very, very, very worried. Because, as you all know, they love snowy weather and the sun appearing isn't such a good thing for them. The glacier started dripping. Oh no, the glacier started melting because of the sun's heat. That is very, very bad. As you can see, there's lots of drops of melted ice, which is water. Poor Morris, he is making a boat and floating it in the puddle. There were puddles on the floor, puddles on the bed, puddles in the bed. Molly was upset. This is Molly and she says, that's not my puddle. This is her bed. Oh dear, Molly, you have a puddle in your bed and you're saying that's not my puddle? You should be worried about your bed. Next page. Gran opened all the fridge doors. Okay, this is a bit confusing. Why would Gran open all the fridge doors? Because you know that refrigerators produce coolness, right? They make ice in the freezers. So Gran thought if we open all the fridge doors, all the cool air will come out. But still, the glacier dripped and splashed and splashed. Drip, splash, splosh. Morris and Molly went paddling. Oh dear, look at their whole glacier and their poor little home dripping down to make a huge ocean. This is Morris and this is Molly, and they both have one paddling. Poor Morris, he has to lift up his pajamas. One evening, Mom Mammoth and Dad Mammoth come home from work early. This is Dad Mammoth and this is Mom Mammoth. They are saying, it's quicker than canoe. It's quicker by canoe. Look at them. It's so hot that the glacier has melted so much that there's literally an ocean right over here. Next page. Mom took off her woolly scarf and her hat. She says, all the ice is melting, Gran. We will have to move. Grrr. Gran seems very surprised and very annoyed that I don't want to go and move to another new place. But just because Mom Mammoth has said, so you have to go, Gran Mammoth. Let's see what happens next. A few days later, there was a mammoth queue leading to glug, glug, so much water. Oh my gosh. The sun is shining so bright that all the poor mammoths have lost their homes and are swimming with scuba diving masks. That is very silly. Let's see what happens next. They were all going to Gran's Mammoth Woolly Shop. There was a sign in the window. It said, closing down sales, mammoth reductions. Ooh, poor Gran Mammoth has to shut down her shop. Gran was not pleased. Poor Gran, she must be thinking that we have to move, I have to shut down my shop, and I won't be able to sell my woolly sweaters, knits, and this, that. You know, whatever she knits. This. So because of that melting glacier, they have to move, and she can't sell her poor woolen stuff. But wait, who's this? Knock, knock. Who's there? It's the woolly penguin. The woolly penguin. Who? This isn't a joke. Open the door. Ooh, a penguin looks very mad right now. It's the woolly penguin, said Molly. Poor Gran, she's very angry. She's saying, pesky penguin. The woolly penguin has a flipper full of tickets. He said, here are your tickets for the last ice floe to the frozen north. So, that's what he came for. He is coming to give tickets for an ice floe to the frozen north? Let's check what the frozen north is. Gran says, I'll expect I'll be seasick. And so, Molly, Morris, Dad, Mom, and Gran Mammoth caught the last ice floe to the frozen north. At last, Gran agreed to move on. But, she said, I'll expect I'll be seasick. Dad Mammoth said, you'll be fine, Gran. Molly is looking at Gran, thinking, why is Gran so angry? And Morris is busy floating his boat on that water. And his mom is calling, come on, Morris, what are you doing? And now that little woolly penguin is shouting, hurry along now, please. The ice floe is leaving. So Molly, Morris, and Dad and Mom and Grand Mammoth went to the ice floe to the frozen north. So did 562 other mammoths. That was every single mammoth in the town. Look at them. They're all going by canoe, and I think that is the area where the ice floe is. So they're all going to the ice floe by boat. Now here's a question. How do you get 567 mammoths and one saber-toothed cat on an ice floe? Answer. You ask them all to breathe in and stand on tiptoe. Gran is saying, "You must be joking." And her cat is very angry. That's why her cat is saying, "Grrr." Oh, poor Fang. He always seems mad, just like Gran. And here's another question. What do you do when the sun keeps shining and you cannot find the frozen north and the ice floe starts to melt? That is what one woolly penguin wanted to know. Oh, so that means the ice floe is starting to melt. Great news. Very great news. Not. Oh, poor mammoths, you're gonna be in very big trouble. Ooh, let's see. This is what 567 mammoths wanted to know too. The ice floe floated in the sunshine and got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, you know how the sunshine works. It shines so much that the ice floe got smaller and smaller and smaller. The pile of mammoths got higher and higher and higher. The poor mammoth said, "Ouch! Get off my trunk. Put your big foot somewhere else. What are you doing on my face?" Oh, the poor mammoths, they must be getting squished. Ooh. Molly was on the top. That's surprising. Molly could see something. Molly thought it was the frozen north. "I can see it! I can see it!" shouted Molly. "I can see the frozen north!" Molly could see something, and she thought it was the frozen north. Maybe it's not. "Hurry, hurry," said the woolly penguin, who was very worried that someone would step on him and not notice. The woolly penguin shouted, "Everyone blow!" Okay, you remember that the woolly penguin said, you asked them all to breathe in and stand on tiptoe? Well, that's what the other penguins did. They all breathed in and standed on their toes. And just as when woolly penguin said, "Everyone blow!" Everyone. So they blew. Look at them blowing. Psh, psh, psh. And this is how small the ice floe got. I am afraid that they might fall down and drown. Ooh, let's see. And they blew right into the mouth of a huge blue whale. Oh, great. Now they're in danger. And the whale is so stupid and yawning and thinking, "Oh, nothing ever happens around here." You'll soon feel stomachache. Suddenly it went dark. Somebody said, "It's gone dark." Somebody said, "Ew." Somebody said, "Ooh." Somebody said, "What a horrible smell of fish." Molly, Morris, Dad, Mom, and Grand Mammoth were all stuck in there with 562 mammoths and one saber-toothed cat. Just then, a certain whale realized that she did not feel very well. Look at her thinking, "I don't feel very well. I have a stomach ache." And Molly is saying inside the belly, "Gran, is this the frozen north?" And Gran is replying, "No, dear, this is a whale." Oh, poor whale. She is soon going to vomit. She dived down, and everybody inside said, Whoa! And the whale felt, oh, ew. Ugh. And then down, down, down through the deep, dark, cold sea, she dived down. And she said, I think I'm going to be sick. Then she came up, 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 up into the snowy lands of this frozen north. Somebody said, careful. Somebody said, hey. Somebody said, oh no, we're going to fall. They're going to have a crash landing. She left a lot of wet, fishy mammoths, one wet, fishy saber-toothed cat, and a very happy, woolly penguin standing in between of a snowstorm. He said, we made it. And somebody said, well, I hate fish. And Molly said, Gran, is this the frozen north now? And Gran said, yes, dear. The whale must be thinking, ooh, that's better. You shouldn't have yawned. It's snowing, Gran, said Molly, and that something has gone. Gran got out her knitting. Mom and Dad took off their sunglasses and went to build a house. Morris made a snow mammoth, and Molly, as you can see, Gran is starting knitting her long muffler, and Molly is standing. We'll see about that later. Every other mammoth is building their houses, and this is Dad mammoth and Mom mammoth, and this is Morris making a snow mammoth. Let's see what Molly does. Molly climbed to the top of the nearest hill. All around she could see nothing but snow. This really is the frozen north, she thought. I wonder where we are. But no one knows where the mammoths are because no one has found them yet. So this story's moral is nobody has found mammoths till now. Let's read the summary. Drip, splash, splosh. What do 567 woolly mammoths and one super-toothed cat do when the sun comes out and the ice begins to melt? They all get tickets from the woolly penguin and take the last ice floe to the frozen north. We just found out how they ended up in the frozen north. But we also found out that nobody in this world has seen those mammoths. But they might in the future. And they have found fossils and their tusks in the between of the snow and ice or in the ground. So that significance is that woolly mammoths once lived, but surprisingly no one has seen them. Well, that's the moral of the story, and we'll meet you in the next video, which is day 6 of English Stories. We'll meet you next time. Goodbye, and like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.